Okay, hi there. Wednesday already. It's Mansfield today, and that means on a Wednesday it's time to talk matters medical. And our resident GP, as usual, Dr. Vicky Skitter. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Jeremy.
We missed you last week.
Thank you. I was in the bush. It was fun.
Oh, I hate you. Any decent sightings?
Oh, lots. We saw leopards mating.
You're kidding.
I swear.
That is
just awesome.
incredibly rare. Yeah.
Very lucky.
Okay, well, we're going. You're back in the city now, so behave yourself. We're going to be talking something a little bit different today. Somebody who you will probably recognise if you've watched the Home Channel and watch Gardening 101 in the form of Linda Galvade, who is the presenter.
Hi.
Of Gardening 101. Hi, Linda. Nice to have you on Mansfield today. Thank you for taking time out to join us.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Now listen, Linda. Listen,
Yes.
Linda. This whole thing, because I read somewhere that you did criminology or something at varsity. How the hell did you go from criminology to organic gardening? Where the hell does this come from?
I actually did criminal psychology, and I was trying to help myself understand anxiety and depression, and I was trying to help people who had difficulties. I actually started studying criminal law, but I realized that by that stage, I'm not going to be able to help anybody. So I tried psychology, and in fact, I wasn't going to be able to help anybody then either. And that's actually how I got to organic gardening, because I realized you really are what you eat. And through my own, investigation, and there's a lot of literature out there now, but there wasn't so much 25 years ago. That gives my age, but anyway.
You couldn't have been studying at varsity when you were 10. I can't believe that.
You're so right. But you know what they say about genii?
So then you got into organic gardening.
That's right. I actually found out, medicines were very ineffective for me with regards to anxiety and depression, and I had to find an alternative. So I started doing a lot of research and realized that, eating a lot of organic vegetables, cutting certain things out of my diet, like gluten, sugar, coffee, alcohol, preservatives, most of the dairy products, really helped me a lot. And I wanted to share this. I wanted to empower people to, have their own health experience. So the way I did that is I started importing heirloom seeds, exciting stuff like purple cauliflower and different colored carrots. And I thought that would, in fact, motivate people to grow their own food and, of course, eat it. And in that way, they'd also develop the positive effects of eating the correct foods.
Let's continue down that line then. I know Dr. Vicky's going to come in with a question or two that she wants answered from you.
Yes.
So have you now started working with other people, helping other people through eating systems to try and assist them with various problems they have?
I'll tell you how I've been able to do it. Through my research, I've found that, all autoimmune diseases like anxiety and depression are caused by inflammation in the body. So how I've gone about doing that is I lecture, teach, talk, encourage, and also hold courses on organic gardening. But when I do my talks, that is my platform really to disseminate the information of gut health and how that correlates with organic gardening and eating organic vegetables. And that's basically how I get the message out. So I don't sit with people and give them consultations. I don't do that. I just talk to a broad audience like I'm doing now.
Right, let's unleash Dr. Vicky here, because I know she's wanting to ask you some questions, Linda. Go ahead, Doc.
Hi, Linda. I love it when you say you are what you eat. I so believe that. That's so true. I see lots of patients with irritable bowel and gut issues and reflux and heartburn, and lots of times, we can't get to the bottom of it. And I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a homeopath or a functional medicine doctor really, but I know that you know a lot about the gut health and how to eat your gut healthy. What kind of patients with what kind of ailments would you say could one help with eating proper organic food?
I love that question, and I love your humbleness. I must tell you that too. It's paramount to understand, and I'm sorry if I say anything that that gets all those allopathic doctors' backs up out there, but it is now been proven that all disease is rooted in an acidic pH in our body's environment. And where that basically comes from is, in a lot of instances, an overactive immune system or underactive immune system. But the pH of your body being in an acid state is due to inflammation throughout your system, even in your brain. And that causes all diseases across the board. Things like cancer, diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, autism. In fact, the latest research on glaucoma from this year now has also identified glaucoma as an autoimmune disease. So cancer, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, sinusitis, allergies, sensitivities to chemicals, daily chemicals, everything is rooted in inflammation in the body. So it doesn't just stop there with the things and the people that you have interaction with now predominantly. It is really an across the board thing. All disease is rooted in inflammation in the body.
That's very true. I agree with you 100%. If we can bring down inflammation, we can prevent most diseases, I believe. So when you talk about organic vegetables and organic, does that then correct the pH? How does that exactly work to improve your gut health? Is it mostly pH related?
Well, it's mostly inflammation related. The pH is one of those things that happen, and I'll give you a brief description of how that happens. The bacteria in our gut, there's bacteria throughout our bodies, but predominantly in our gastrointestinal tracts. And what the bacteria does there, the good bacteria, it mitigates massive inflammation. So it also educates your immune cells. It triggers them. It gives them the identification of foods that are unhealthy for us or considered foreign to our bodies. And that is what, in fact, triggers an immune response. The integrity of our gastrointestinal tract lining is very important. If that lining is weakened, foods like pesticides, insecticides, GMO crops, sugar, gluten, all those kinds of foods, when we ingest them, it is our bacteria that in fact signifies, or should I say identifies, whether those foods are considered valuable or not. And the reason why they do that is because if they are a danger to us, they then trigger the immune system cells. They also have good bacteria and bad bacteria in your gut, and depending on what you eat, it will stimulate the growth of either the good or the bad. If your bad bacteria proliferates, it obviously won't be able to do the job that a good bacteria can do, which is, as I said, mitigate inflammation, cause the integrity of your gut lining to in fact maintain strong. If your lining is weakened, your undigested food releases straight into your bloodstream. This also creates massive inflammation and huge atrophy in your whole body. I'm talking about mental illness, physical illness, all kinds of illnesses. I'm sure you've heard the term leaky gut, and that is in fact what leaky gut is. And there's a correlating ailment now called leaky brain, which when I was studying psychology, and I'm sure when you were doing medicine, you were taught that the blood-brain barrier never allowed anything through, or very little. But this is in fact not true. What they have found is that there definitely is this correlation, and leaky brain and leaky gut are, you know, once you've got that one, once that door's open, the other door is going to open too.
Yeah, so I think the best, and you would probably agree, is to basically what you eat, you should make. You shouldn't buy processed foods. Those are the inflammatory foods. I call it poison, inflammatory foods or processed foods. It basically is that, hey?
I absolutely agree with you. You know, it goes even further than that. I always say to my students, if the food is 2 degrees away from source, if it's further than that, don't eat it. So if it doesn't basically come out of the ground or straight from the cow, you know, watching it, you know, being at a dairy where it's unprocessed milk products, etc., don't touch it. Even if it seems healthy to you, you know, if you buy it in a box and it says gluten-free, you've got to know that there's a process. It was harvested. It was, you know, put into that box. It was given long shelf life. So even foods that look healthy to you are not necessarily. Another thing that we've also tried to convince people of, which has taken a long time, you know, people often used to say there's no difference between an organically grown crop and a non-organically grown crop. But I know that we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But just to give you an idea, herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, and toxins kill your good bacteria. They cause huge dysbiosis, which means an imbalance, and it means a proliferation of bad bacteria over good.
It's difficult, though, Linda, for your normal man or woman on the street to distinguish between it. I remember quite a few years ago, because I had some gut problems, and one of the things I was told to stop eating for a certain amount of time, just to see if it would rectify them, was red meat, for example. So I started eating a fair amount of fish, only to find out, to my horror, that the Norwegian salmon that I was buying was being farmed in a fish farm. They were fed steroids to get the right color into the fish. I mean, I thought I was doing the right thing. It's not. It's very difficult to know whether you're doing the right thing or not.
Absolutely. That's such a good example, Jeremy, because it's not only that farm fish are so, you know, dangerous. I absolutely don't touch farm fish. And I really want people to look at, you know, the packaging, because it will tell you whether the fish has been farmed or if it's, you know, ocean caught. That's, you know, those are the words you look for. But fish is also full of mercury today because of the toxins and pollutions in the sea. So, you know, it's really tough. I mean, even pollution and stress, those are huge factors when it comes to causing dysbiosis in your gut. We are affected by everything. So ideally, we'd love to live in a forest somewhere, you know, having our own chickens run around, milking our own cows and growing our own vegetables. But obviously we can't do that. So if you want to start somewhere, start by growing your own food at home where you have control and you know what you're putting in the soil. And soil health is actually where this all starts and ends.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So if I want to start my own organic veggie garden and I haven't got green fingers, I kill everything. So where do I start? Or what advice could you give me? I know nothing now and I want to grow my own tomatoes and cucumbers and whatever else. Where do I start?
You know, I sense a bit of an excitement in your voice, you know, Vicky. I think that actually you will be doing that. It's a very easy thing. It's a very easy process, in fact. And people are a little bit daunted because they say things like, I don't have green fingers. Well, I want to tell you something. 12 years ago, neither did I. I killed everything, including cacti, and I didn't water them, and you're not supposed to. So I don't actually know what I did wrong. But the integrity of the soil and soil health is absolutely one of the most important things that you need to focus on. And you can really start a vegetable garden anywhere that you have sunlight. You can put it in a pot, anything. You can grow anything in a pot. You can grow tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, you name it, you can grow it in the pot. The biggest consideration there is how big and how deep the pot. And obviously size in this instance does count. And it's really very simple. When you have to target the three main things to allow you to be successful in organic gardening or growing your own organic vegetables, you have to make sure you've got good organic compost, which you can make at home. And in fact, that's going to be the best. You've got to have good seeds that are going to germinate. So it doesn't make you feel like you've got, no green fingers, because good seed will germinate. Let me just say that we have our own brands and our own products, and we know that for sure. And the last thing to consider is water. Water costs a lot of money, but unfortunately, vegetables need a lot of water. And really, I have to say, once you've got the sunlight right, which is 6 to 8 hours a day, once you've got the positioning right and you understand that, you're not going to grow successful crops under lots of trees. And that's another thing. Look out for buildings and trees, even in your neighbor's garden, to see how that's going to affect your sunlight quota. You can establish your garden. You can build a raised bed. You can use tires or bags or anything. Your raised bed has to be a minimum of 20 centimeters, obviously, depending what you're growing. And you plant your seeds. It's summer now. So those things that you mentioned, like tomatoes and cucumbers, those are the crops you should be growing. And you can absolutely start today. Just start.
Yeah, if you don't start, you're never going to go anywhere. You've got to take the first step. Linda, you are a seed, an organic seed importer and distributor. Is there a website that people can go to find out more about the product and about how to start a garden?
Yes, there is. Our website is www.soughtafterseedlings.co.za. That's SOUGHT. I must just correct you there. We import heirloom seeds, not organic. That's a whole different ballgame. So, and there's a lot of information on there. A lot of our videos from the Gardening 101 series where, my co-host is Melanie Walker. They all on there, and it teaches you to do anything. Just doesn't teach you how to fly a plane. Not yet.
Linda, thank you very much for taking time out to join us. I do appreciate that. Linda Galvad from Gardening 101 on the DSTV home channel. She's one of the co-presenters, along with along with our little gardening guru, who you'll be able to catch on Saturday, Melanie Walker. And Dr. Vicky, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
That was
It was
very interesting, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, it was. We'll catch you again next week. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it interesting. That website, once again, www.soughtafterseedlings.co.za. And don't forget our details as well. If you did enjoy the show, then press subscribe, and we'll catch you next week with the medical show once again. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.